Fanfic Corner, presented by Jennifer. Moon and Hearts, a Dragon Prince Valentine's Day fanfic, written and read by Jennifer. Valentine's Day was a big day in Callus, but it wasn't one that Callum celebrated in 9 years, the time between his mother's death and when he met Rayla. In the 3 years since he and Rayla returned Zim to his mother, Callum had made up for lost time. Callum woke early on Valentine's Day. He and Rayla were spending the week at the Banther Lodge as a second honeymoon. That summer, they would celebrate their 3rd anniversary. But Rayla was still a little uncomfortable with all the attention they got back at the palace as members of the royal family. She hadn't been born into it. True, Callum hadn't either, but he had been raised in it. Quietly, so he wouldn't wake Rayla, Callum made his way to the kitchen, planning on surprising his wife with a special Valentine's Day breakfast in bed. After traveling with her to and from the Storm Spire, and then nearly 3 years of marriage, he knew what she liked and planned to make her favorite breakfast. "Something smells good," Rayla said as Callum entered the room. Sitting up in bed, she stretched. Once she was done, Callum placed the tray on her lap. Sitting on the tray was a plate of sunny-side-up eggs with bacon, hash browns, and toast with butter and moonberry jelly. A glass of orange juice sat to one side, with the silverware between it and the plate, and a single red rose in a bud vase sat on the other. You made me breakfast," Rayla said, not all that surprised. This wasn't the first time Callum had made her breakfast, or even the first time he had made her breakfast in bed. Normally, it was on her birthday, or their anniversary, or the anniversary of when they first met, or the anniversary of when they arrived at the Storm Spire and returned them to Zubiba. There were also all the random times that he referred to as just because times. Rayla loved those more than the others because they were unexpected and, as far as she was concerned, more romantic. "You are such a good cook," Rayla said as they had their breakfast. "You're better," Callum said. "Well, someone had to do the cooking back home," Rayla said. "Mother and Father were away at the Storm Spire with the Dragon Guard. Ryan was away on missions, and Athera was busy in his shop until sundown." The day had been wonderful. No meetings to go to, no treaties to oversee, no royal duties to attend to, and no looks from people who still objected to an elf-human marriage even 3 years after the war was prevented. It was a perfect day. They had gone for a walk around the lodge grounds, had lunch, gone for a sleigh ride, and, when it started getting dark, gone inside and played chess. Rayla was a very good chess player, strategy being a necessity to an assassin. But Callum was getting better after some chess lessons from Commander Gren. All too soon, Rayla had to excuse herself to make dinner. Normally, when the royal family went to the Banther Lodge, they had a small staff with them. But this time, Callum had insisted that they stay at the palace, so it was only the 2 of them. Not that Rayla minded. She loved being able to cook dinner for Callum every once in a while. She had decided to make Callum's favorite, roast chicken with green beans and wild rice. Once everything was ready, she slipped upstairs to change clothes. "You look so beautiful," Callum said as Rayla sat across from him at the candlelit dinner. Rayla blushed slightly. She knew she was no real beauty like some of the noble ladies back at the palace, but she also knew that Callum would see her as beautiful no matter what. Though this evening she had made an effort. She had put on one of the gowns the royal seamstress had made for her. It was red, not the traditional moonshadow green, but red seemed an appropriate color to wear today, and had done her hair up as elegantly as she could without the help of her ladies-in-waiting. For his part, Callum was dressed in one of his best suits in the red and gold colors of Callus. "I have something for you," Rayla said when they had finished dinner. She presented Callum with a box wrapped in red paper and tied with a gold-colored ribbon. Callum opened it to find an amulet with the symbols for all 6 primal sources carved on it. "I had Ethera make it especially for you," Rayla said. "Great minds think alike," Callum said, handing Rayla 2 boxes wrapped in green paper and tied with violet ribbons, and a bouquet of blue moon roses. Rayla opened the larger of the 2 boxes to find her favorite candy inside. Candied moonberries dipped in chocolate. Back in Zadia, they were called moonberry cordials, but in Katalis, and nearly all the human kingdoms, they had become known as Princess Rayla's because she loved them so much. Inside the smaller box was a pendant very similar to the one Ethera had given her 3 years ago, and she had then given to Callum. In the center were 2 gemstones carefully carved into the shape of hearts, one an emerald, Callum's birthstone, and the other a light amethyst, her birthstone. "It's beautiful, Callum," she said. "There's more," Callum said, untying a roll of parchment. At first, Rayla thought it was a portrait Callum had either commissioned or done himself, but she soon saw that she was wrong. It was plans for a grand house. There was a large kitchen and dining area, 2 sitting rooms, 2 studies, a master suite, and lots of spare bedrooms. There was a stable and a mage's workshop not that far away, and the design for the main house was a beautiful combination of human and elf styles. Callum had obviously put a lot of thought into it. "Is this a house for us?" Rayla asked. "I thought we could use our own space," Callum said. "You're having this built?" "It's done. Just waiting for a few finishing touches that I thought you'd like to take care of." "No one told me about this." "I wanted it to be a surprise. It's not that far from here. I wanted it to be close enough to the royal city so we wouldn't be too far away to get the things we needed when we needed them, and Ezrin wouldn't feel abandoned, but far enough that we could have some privacy." Rayla looked at the plans happily. She had never had a house of her own before, unless you counted the dollhouse that Ethera had made for her 6th birthday. She was going to have so much fun decorating it the way she wanted, and, in the spring, starting a beautiful garden like the one back at the palace. "I already know which room I want to start with," she said, pointing to the spare room closest to the master suite. "And I have a surprise for you." "What is it?" Callum asked. "Let's just say it's a good thing we have a house of our own." It took Callum a moment to figure out what Rayla meant. "You mean," Rayla nodded happily, "we're going to have a baby." Okay, before I sign off, I'd like to say 2 things. First off, if I mispronounced Ruan's husband's name, I do apologize. I have not yet gotten to the episodes in which he appears in. Secondly, all you fanfic and basically all you writers out there, if you have a short story or a fanfic that you would like me to do a reading on for Fanfic Corner, be it a regular fanfic or short story or a holiday fanfic or short story, you can feel free to send it to either my Tumblr account or my Facebook page. Both will be in the description section, or the links for both will be in the description section. A couple of things to keep in mind. First off, be sure to include your name, or if you're sending me somebody else's work, the name of the author of that story or fanfic. No one to credit, no reading. Second off, please be advised that I would like these to be short. My video recorder can only do up to 30 minutes and then it kind of jumps into the next video clip. So if they are long or it's a multiple part story, please keep in mind that I will be dividing it up into multiple parts. Third, please try to keep it clean. I will gloss over or clean up any parts that I deem inappropriate. But if there are way too many, I just won't do a reading on that particular part or writing. Finally, be honest. If I learn that a fanfic that was submitted was written by someone else and sent to me without their permission, I will not only remove all corresponding videos, but I will no longer be accepting any fanfics or short stories from the sender. And lastly, even though it's not on here, if you are sending me a holiday short story or fanfic, please be advised it may not get up until that holiday comes around again, depending on when it is sent to me.